Friends, Tony Porter. Here we are playing the 2024 Yankees using deep drive baseball. They're right about to release the 2025 season. We're at Rogers Center. It's a little bit friendlier to left-handed batters in terms of the ballpark dimensions and power. And it's Kevin Gausman, going for the Blue Jays against Marcus Stroman, going for the New York Yankees. It is 2024. And we are playing deep drive baseball. And I was thinking of a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys as we play. One of those things I wanted to talk about is the best game. What game is the best game? Think about that for a minute. And it's Volpe at the plate. Here's Gausman. So you roll 3 dice, you look at the red and then the white. It's 28. That'll be a defensive result. And you're going to roll a 52, and that is a ground ball to the second baseman, Schneider. From what I remember, Schneider was a pretty good left fielder and a pretty good second baseman, and he'll make a diving play up on his feet over to first, and in time robs Volpe of a hit. So yeah, he is a 4. So it's a G4 put out. And next up will be Juan Soto. Soto is having a pretty good season so far. Well, actually, he was batting in the 290s. He's lost some, batting 246 with 8 home runs, though, in the first 65 at-bats. He hit 41 for the season, and here's the pitch. That's a 0-7, and that's going to be ripped to right. Base hit, played on a hop by Springer. Springer's in right, Kiermaier in center, and Varsho in left. So that puts a runner on base here. In the top of the first for the Yankees, it's Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge batting 391, 6 doubles, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, 17 strikeouts, 14 walks in 19 games. It's a 73. You want to get to know a game? Play it night in and night out. That's a swing and a miss, and he chases a ball in the dirt, slider in the dirt, and Judge goes fishing. So which is the best game? I don't think there is a best game. I think there's good games, I think there's average games, and I think there are poor games. So anybody out there who's playing a game and think they've discovered the game in all of history, I think they are very mistaken. I think there's elements of interesting factors, and of course people's subjective kind of enjoyment based on a lot on how they grew up and what they learned to play and how they learned to play it. All these are so many different factors that lead to someone liking one game over another game. Sometimes watching other people play it. Sometimes, hey, it looks fun when you play it, so guess what? I want to play it. So, I've talked about this in several videos. So it's Anthony Rizzo now with Soto on at first. Here's the pitch from Gausman. And that's a 10, and that'll be ball 4. So Rizzo walks. That puts 2 men on with 2 out here for the Yankees. And next is Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton hit 27 home runs in 460 plate appearances. And he is a right-handed hitter. Runners on first and second. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a 41, which will end the inning. It's a bouncer to short, hard hit. He'll flip to the second baseman covering. And that is a G6-4 fielder's choice. So this game moves along very nicely. Now, 2024 does slow the game up because of all the pitching changes. Once you hit the 6th inning, you're going to have normally you have a total of 8 to 10 pitchers in each game. So that means every inning, and once you know the names a little bit, you know who's on the roster, it goes a little bit faster. But until you learn that, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, if you will. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, what elements I believe make a game fun. And then what elements I believe make a game less fun. And see how you guys feel about it. All right, George Springer. Now, a game that I grew up with isn't necessarily the most fun game or the best designed game or the best game in general, right? It's just a game that was available when I grew up, and I got to know it, and I have, an emotional attachment to it. Like I have emotional attachment to my 20-year-old car, which I can't get rid of. Here's George Springer, and that's a 73, which will be a swing and a miss. Curveball by Stroman has Springer out in front. And that is one away. Here's Vladdy Guerrero. This thing is working really slow. I have to restart my computer because I've got a virus of some kind. 67, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Stroman walks Guerrero, proceeds with caution, and Guerrero gets a base on balls. He stands at first. Here's Bo Bichette with a 67, and that will be back-to-back walks. Back-to-back walks off Stroman. That puts 2 men on. Here comes Justin Turner, 11 home runs. Batted .259, 540 plate appearances. And the pitch, it's a 21, and that'll be a check swing. And the check with the first base umpire. He rings him up. That's a strikeout. Looking. Well, check swing. And here's Biggio. And against Stroman. And the pitch, and that is a 57, which is line base hit. That'll score Guerrero. Going to third is Bichette. That's an RB, a 2-out RBI single by Biggio, and that puts the Blue Jays up. Actually, what did happen here? Hold on a second. I gotta undo that. Let me undo that because for some reason everybody did not move 2 bases. Let's do that again. Alright, so it's going to be a single, 1B, and then 2 asterisk. Oh, wow. Okay, I see what happened there. 1B. There we go. Alright, so run comes in and Blue Jays lead it 1-0, 2 outs. Up comes Schneider. Davis Schneider, left fielder, second baseman, batted .191 and almost 450 at bats with 13 home runs. That's an 85, and that'll be a high fly center field. Judge is there under it, squeezes it, and that retires the side. But they come up with a run. They lead at 1-0. We go to the top of the second inning. Well, I can't get this thing to pause for some reason. All right, it's Torres in the top of the second against Kevin Gausman. And it's 32, and that'll be a 1 popped up. Middle infield, Bichette and Schneider together, and it's not Dante, but Bo Bichette who calls for it. And it's the second time I call him Dante. All right, so 1 away here. And next it's Alex Verdugo. Verdugo batting .129, 8 for 62. So he's really struggled. And it's a 44. He'll make another out here. And this is another pop-up. This is on foul territory. It's a 4, so that's going to be the catcher. So 2 down. And here's Oswaldo Cabrera. Pitch from Gausman, which is a 91. And that'll be a 1. That is popped up again, this time to the right side. On the outfield grass is Schneider. He makes the catch. So 3 pop-ups. Go to the bottom of the second. Marcus Stroman against Dalton Varsho. 19, and that'll be a swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes. Chases his ball out of the strike zone. Alejandro Kirk, who, man, he can hit 0-6, and that's ripped to left. Played on a hop by Verdugo, and Kirk is on with a single. Picks up a knock here with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Next up is Kevin Kiermaier. And that's a 27, which will be a defensive result. We're going to look, and that's a 41. 41 is to the catcher, and that's going to be a little number in front of the plate. And Wells will not get to it. Everybody's safe. Hold on a second. Kirk singled. So let's do that.
And now Kiermaier is going to little nubber. That's Wells throws the first not in time, and the official score will grant him a hit. All right, so we got a couple of men on, one out. Tightening these up a little bit. Let's see. Oh, Springer leads off. Pitcher from Stroman, and that's going to be a 65, which is base on balls. That's going to load the bases. So Stroman is struggling here in the bottom of the second. Some bad luck, and then, of course, some poor control. So that brings up their major star, Vladimir Guerrero. And that's an 18, which would be a base on balls, and that's going to force in a run. So it's 2-0 Toronto. We are playing at Rogers Center here in Canada. And now it's Bobichette. Pitch, and feels back, by the way, at 29. And with a 6 is a shallow fly ball left field. There will be nobody tagging up on this. And racing in is Verdugo. He makes the catch. So that's 2-away with the bases loaded. And here is Justin Turner. Turner's 0 for 1. He struck out. The pitch from Stroman, and that is a 95, which will be a 3. And that's a hard hit ball down the line. Backhanded by Cabrera. It's going to go to second for the force. G5-4. And they leave the bases loaded, so the Yanks get out of that one. And it's going to be Austin Wells leading off the top of the third. I'm not going back to our conversation. That's a 68. That'll be off the pitcher, and that'll be a check swing, and he gets run up. Umpire calls him out. Says he went too far, and Wells doesn't agree. So yeah, we're talking about the best game. All games have their advantages and disadvantages. Some of them require a lot of lookups, like a lot of chart lookups, right? And I'll model what that looks like. Here's Anthony Volpe. All right, so 91. So that's not an out. I don't know what it is, right? Let me see. Let me grab the green die because that tells me what the deal is. Okay. So let me look over here. Hold on. Gotta grab all the charts, right? Okay, so this chart, it's 91. That tells me to go to this section here. Okay, none of those things play a part. Okay, let's go over here now. No, that doesn't qualify for that. Let's go over here. No, it's not that result. And finally here, yep, it's a fly ball left field. That's how that works. So that's now I knew it was a fly ball left field when I looked at this green die. So, and that's one example of a game that is circumlocutus. It's circular in nature, where it makes you go here, there, the other place. Circumlocutus, of course, it means when you speak in circles. Well, this is tabletop baseball in circles. Let me do the other type of game, right? So it's Juan Soto. So that's a 92 and an 8. An 8 is a high fly center field, but some games will ask you to roll again. Okay. All right. Here, and then we got to roll one more time. Okay. And then one last time. All right. So nothing happens. It's a fly out to left. So that's the other type of game that you have. It makes you roll and roll and roll. Now, guys interpret that as, building excitement, right? Because And I just can't say if that's really what that's doing. Excitement to me is how is this guy going to perform with the bases loaded, in a clutch situation in the game. Or that homer in the bottom, the 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th to put your team up 3-2. That sort of thing. I don't necessarily need to roll 6 times or need to look up charts and charts and charts to basically build that excitement. But everybody, I respect other people and how they feel, so that's one part of the conversation. Let's play some ball here. It's an 87 with a 1, and that's off the pitcher card. A 1 is a pop-up left side, and it's Cabrera. So it's a pop 5. So that's Kevin Biggio. Here's David Schneider with a 36. That's a fly ball. Center field, Judge. Under it. And Dalton Varsho, 44. So I think really historically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was Stratomatic that came up with the idea of let's make most of the results come off the playing cards, and that was, I think, what really distinguished it from APA. APA required you to, albeit it would be easy to remember a lot of the results on APA, but you still had to use charts, and you had to flip charts until you figured it out, however long it took. Right? So now it's Judges up leading off. That's 3 outs, and we're in the top of the 4th, and it's going to be a 24, which will be base on ball. So Judge walks. He's on it first. Not going to be stealing. Anthony Rizzo. And that's an 84 with a 3, and that's a slow grounder to the third. Charging hard as Biggio barehands it, fires the first in time to get the slow poke Rizzo. And next is Giancarlo Stanton, 44 with an 8. That's lifted high fly center field. For out number 2, back to second goes Judge. And here's Torres, Gleyber Torres, with a 57. That's going to be a base hit, and that will score Judge. So an RBI, 2-out RBI single for Gleyber Torres. Gets the Yankees on the board. Scores 2-1 now. So Gleyber Torres comes up clutch with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And it's Alex Verdugo with a 29, and that'll be a 5, which is a hard hit ball to second base. Schneider will flip to Bichette, and that's a G4-6. To end the inning, go to the bottom of the 4th. Alejandro Kirk leads off with a 91 and a 3, and that's a hard hit ball down the line, backhanded by Cabrera. Strong throw to first in time. 1 down. So that's some of the games. And then you have the games where most of everything is right off the card. And I think Strat was the first one that started that, right? Putting most of the results. I don't know that there was any other. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Kiermaier, pitch from Stroman, 18, and that'll be a check swing, and he gets rung up by the third base umpire. And yes, just Stratomatic side. We're going to put most of the results 0-6, and that's ground ball through the left side, a single for Springer, and that is Springer's first hit of the game. He struck out and walked. And next up is Vladimir Guerrero. Pitch and a 70, which will be a swing and a miss. Chases a ball in the dirt, goes down on strikes, and that ends the inning at the top of the 5th. Oswaldo Cabrera leads off again. Kevin Gausman with a 98 and a 1. That's popped up. Middle infield. Schneider, the second baseman on the outfield grass. He hauls it in for the first out. Now comes the lefty, Austin Wells. Austin Wells today is 0 for 1. A strikeout in the third, an 88. A line out, ripped and caught by Bichette. A BB off the bat of Wells. But right at the Bo Bichette for the second out. Here's Anthony Volpe, who's 0 for 2. Grounded out the first, flight out in third. Pitch is 75, and that'll be a defensive result. See what happens here. I just pinned the chart to my wall, 56, and that'll be a ground ball past the diving second baseman Schneider. So the Yankees have their third hit of the game. Anthony Volpe, he will take off and try to steal. He's a 12, and that is a 9, and he is safe. So STL. And Juan Soto now with a 48. That's a 2, and a tapper right back to Gosman over to first, and that retires the side. The Yanks leave a man, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. A 2-1 ball game here. So Stroman's on the mound. He is already orange. So I use a helper to guide me in several things, just keeping track of stuff. I have all the stats in front of me for batters and pitchers and all that kind of thing. It doesn't take very much. You know, it's a little bit of a learning curve, but slight. So Stroman, who's already tiring, and that's a 0-3. That's going to be a deep drive. And he, with the 3, the green 3, he's got the ballpark. And that ball is going to be an 87, and that's way back into the seats in left field. And the Blue Jays lead it by a score of 3-1. So a dinger by Bo Bichette here, who hit only 4 home runs, but gets a ballpark home run. Doesn't have many home runs off his card, but he does have the ballpark home run, and he got it here, which is very low. I did roll like a 3, I think. All right, Justin Turner with a 20, and that'll be a swing and a miss, strike 3. And he heads back to the bench with the first out. Biggio with a 25, which will be got him looking. Back-to-back Ks after the home run. Stroman reaches back for a little extra. Schneider now with 2 out with a 33, and that's a defensive result. We look on the chart, it's a 27, and that's a bounce to the short. And Volpe will handle it. Now, if Volpe were a 2 or a 1, it would be an error, right? But Volpe's a 3, so he makes that play, and that retires the side. But they do score a run on the solo shot. And we go to the top of the 6th inning here. It's 3-1 Blue Jays. Now, the Yankees have been losing lately. They're 8-10. Toronto's 10-8. So Aaron Judge leads off with 64, and that'll be a strikeout. So slider low and away. That's the pitch that gives Judge the most trouble. Next is Anthony Rizzo with a 69, and that'll be a strike 3 called. Back-to-back Ks for Gosman. And now it's Rizzo with an 88 and a 4. That's bounced to the shortstop. Easy pickings for Bichette over to first, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th. So this game has the ability to move very, very fast because everything's right off. As you see, there's very little chart lookups. Everything's right off the cards. And Dalton Varsho against Stroman. I got both pitchers into the 6th inning, which is 65, and that'll be a base on balls. So that may do it for Stroman. Let's see if it does. If it does, yeah. So we're going to bring in another pitcher here. All right, we got Caleb Ferguson against Dalton Varsho, lefty on lefty. The pitch, it's a 30. That'll be a defensive result. And it's an 83, and an 83 means it's going to be a fly ball center field, and Judge will get to it. And that is 1 away. So Ferguson does his job, takes care of the lefty. So it's an F8. And that brings up Alejandro Kirk, who can hit 250 hitter, 5 home runs. Played in 100 games. Oh, wait a second. Okay, that was an out. So now it's Kiermaier, excuse me. And that is a 96, which will be a 5, and that's a bounce it a short. Volpe would flip it to Torres for the force. Safe at first is Kiermaier. So it's a G64. Oh, actually, yep. That would make it a 96. It was off the picture card anyway. Okay. I'm allowed to go. So with this result, your pitcher batter. So when a pitcher defense may choose to add 50 at any row. In addition, all players 1 point of their fielding ratings. Okay, so they can add, you can't subtract. All right, so Springer now. With 2 out, 1 on. And the pitch, it's a 0-6, and that's going to be a ground ball base hit. Will Kiermaier go to third? We may have to roll on this one very fast. He will go to third on this. So first base, and runner advances to third. And Ferguson's going to be out. Vladimir Guerrero's coming up. Okay, so it's Dennis Santana against Vladimir Guerrero. 2 outs, 2 on. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be a 36, which will be a 3. Hard hit ball to third base. Cabrera comes across over to first, and that retires the side. So Dennis Santana does the job, gets the out, and we move to the top of the 7th. Kevin Gausman is tired, so we're going to replace him as well. All right, it's a guy named Francis Bowden, or Bowden Francis, excuse me. Bowden Francis. Francis is his last name. He's got 2 first names against Gleyber Torres. And we're in the top of the 7th, it's a 57, and that's ball 4. So Torres walks. Not a good base runner. Only had 4 stolen bases the whole season. He took, he's been criticized for slacking. Verdugo with the pitch, and that's a 59, which is a swing and a miss, and he strikes out. Again, his slump continues. And Oswaldo Cabrera with a 60, which will be a strike 3 called, and he goes down on strikes for the second out. And now you have Austin Wells. And it's a 53. That's going to be a deep drive, and he's got the ballpark. This could tie the game up. It's a deep drive way back left field, and that ball is out of here. 2-run shot, and the game is tied 3-3. Wells goes around the bases. Home run for Wells, and that is his, let's see. So 2-run shot, tying up the game here in the top of the 7th for the Yanks. Austin Wells. That is, we'll look at the box score to see what home run that is for him on the season, maybe. Oh, wait. That is his 4th home run of the season. So he's hit some. This one he got off the ballpark. So it's Anthony Volpe now. And that's going to be a 99, which would be a 1. And that's a pop-up to the right side. Guerrero. On the infield, Dirt makes the catch. And that did not go through. I don't know why. Pop 3. There it is. So that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Santana's still in there against Bo Bichette. 98 with a 7. That's high fly right field. Soto near the line. 1 down. Justin Turner's next. Steps in the box. Here's the pitch. 71. Strike 3 called. two-way. And Cabin Biggio with a 36 and a 0. That's ripped and caught by Torres. 3 up, 3 down. Super easy inning for Dennis Santana. We got Francis, and he will get pulled here. All right, so we have Yimi Garcia on the mound facing Soto. I usually bring in the lefty to face Soto. That's going to be a deep drive off the bat of Soto, and that ball's gone. The Yankees have taken a 4-3 lead. Gets a hold of a hanging curve and blasts it into the right center field seats. Juan Soto, and that's Juan Soto. I think it's his 9th home run of the season. Next up is Aaron Judge with a 90 and a 4, and that's bounced to short, charging hard as Bichette, bare hands, fires the first in time. G6. Great play by Bichette here. He knew that if he gloved that ball, he wouldn't. He knew that Judge would beat it out. Here's Rizzo with a 0-6, and that's a ground ball past the right side. Hold on, this guy's eating something. What are you biting on, pal? No, don't bite on that. That's my. What did he destroy there? He destroyed something. Stop destroying stuff, little guy. Come on. All right, he's a pup, so he chews on stuff. He gets a lot of bones and stuff. He woke up with me at 3 in the morning. Good boy. Yo, good boy. All right. Where were we? That's a 0-6, and it's a ground ball. Base hit for Rizzo. Rizzo's batting 271, not too shabby. Just need to get Verdugo going. He's really struggling. Stanton now. And the pitch, and that is going to be an 85 with an 8. That's a high fly ball, center field. Under it is Kiermaier. And he puts it away for out number 2. And here's Gleyber Torres with a 90. And it's a fly ball, shallow. Oh, wait, it's a wild pitch. 90 is a wild pitch. Yeah, there's a runner on base because I didn't know there was a runner on base. There you go. All right, so he bats again. And it's a 24. Swings and misses at a high fastball. He strikes out to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. And let's see. Santana's out, so we're going to pull Santana. Oh, we're still on. Okay, we're still live. We're gonna call on Ian Hamilton to face Davis Schneider. Can I pinch hit here with a lefty? Not that it matters. He's not a righty specialist. Let me see who I have here to pinch hit. Get a lefty in there. Schneider is what? He's 0 for 3 today. So let's see. Click on the bench, see what I got. My computer's working really slow. I'm gonna have to take it to clean it out. I hardly have anything on this computer other than these games. This is my game computer. All right, so let's see. We got any lefties? We got Vogelbach, but he's in red for some reason, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, I had to click on pinch hit, and that is, where is that? Oh, there it is. What are you doing down there? What are you eating? All right, so do I have a lefty? Vogelbach, but he is in orange, so I'm not sure why he's in orange. So I'm going to just let this guy bat. Schneider. Hamilton, 75. and that'll be a strikeout. One down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees lead it by a score 4-3. It's the power that's brought the Yankees back. A 2-run homer, and then a solo shot. Varsho was 72, and that'll be a back-to-back Ks. Brings the heat and blows it by Varsho. So that is 2 away, and now it's Alejandro Kirk. Kirk today is 1 for 3 with an 82 and an 8. That's a high fly. No, that's a defensive result. So let's roll again. Let's look at the chart. It's an 18, and second baseman is a 1. That's a ball that's thrown over the head of Rizzo, allowing and into the dugout, allowing Kirk to go to second base. So the tying run is at second base. Runner 0 gets an extra base. There we go. So Kirk is very slow, so we can get a pinch runner for Kirk. We'll get somebody who can run a little bit, and Kiermaier's up. We may call on a lefty here to force a pinch hitter, but maybe not. We'll see if we got any lefties in the bullpen. All right, so we can get a pinch runner. It's going to be, we need a speedy guy, so it's going to be Kiner Falefa. Excuse me. Kiner Falefa. Here's Kiermaier, who's a lefty specialist. And that's a whole explanation, but I'm not getting into that right now. I've done videos on that, so you can always check that out. So, do I pinch hit? Do I bring in a lefty? Do I have any lefties? That's the question. I may have, I think I have one lefty in the Yankee. Let me see. Victor, let's see. I have Victor Gonzalez. I'm going to bring Victor Gonzalez, pitcher. Yep. Stop being that. Oh, God, this guy. Eating paper all the time. All right. So I'm going to bring in a lefty, and that is going to put Kiermaier at a disadvantage because he's a lefty specialist against a lefty pitcher. All right, Victor Gonzalez. So now I'm probably going to go to the pinch hit for Kiermaier. Let's see if I can find, here he is, Victor Gonzalez. So I'm going to pinch hit. So both my cars, by the way, broke down yesterday. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. So now one is in the shop, the other one needs to go to the shop. And luckily I have a motorcycle, so I'm going to have to ride my motorcycle in today. So we're going to call on Ernie Clement to pinch hit. So let's do that. Let's grab Clement. I'm not sure who's going to play center field after that, but we'll deal with that situation as we go. Let's see. Ernie Clement plays only infield. All right, Victor Gonzalez versus Ernie Clement. Here's the pitch, and that's a 23, and that'll be a pop-up middle infield. It's an odd number, so that'll be Torres. He's under it, makes the catch, and that retires the side. So in comes Gonzalez and does his job. Now we're going to have to make a change here. So we need a center fielder. So let's see how we're going to do that. And we got to change Garcia. Garcia's got to be pulled out as well. Just waiting for this thing to... Wow. Yeah, my computer has a virus and nothing's working the way it should be right now. So I can't get this to pause. So I'm just going to play through it. We need to get a center fielder. So let's do that. Please wait. Consulting the bench coach. I don't know what it's doing. It's doing its own thing. There you go. Come on now. It's frozen up on me. All right, we need a catcher and a center fielder. So who can play center field? Let's replace the catcher with catcher. The other catcher we have on hand is who? Danny Jansen. So he will be the catcher. He will come in. Kind of Falefo. What positions can he play? Oh, he can play center field. Okay, so we're going to put Falefo in center field. And then we are going to switch out Clement, who pinch hit, with Danny Jansen, the catcher. And we're ready. Now we have to change out the pitcher as well. Garcia, so let's do that. Who are we going to grab here? Let's see. Let's go to... I have Torres. I'm going to bring in a lefty just because I want a lefty to face Soto. Even though the lefty I have is not a lefty specialist. You want those lefty specialists to be able to face your left-handed batters. Most teams have them. This team doesn't seem to have one. So Tim Meza against Torres, Soto, and Judge. Oh, actually it's Verdugo's batting. All right. And the pitch, and that's a 33, which will be a 2, and that's a bounce at the first. Guerrero will take it himself for the first out. We're in the top of the 9th. Next is Oswaldo Cabrera. And a 41, and that'll be a 3. Bounce at a third base. Biggio makes the play. 2 down. And next up is Austin Wells, who hit a 2-run shot. 2 RBIs to tie up the ball game in the 7th. It was a blast to right. Here's the pitch, and that is a 65, which will be a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. So his second hit of the game. He is batting. He's doing very well, batting .387. So that's only going to improve in this game. Now he is very slow, so I could pinch run for him as well. Let's do that. Let's pinch run for Wells. Let's see. So we're playing deep drive baseball, and it's going to be pinch runner will be Trent Grisham, and then Anthony Volpe's batting. Here's Tim Meza pitch, and it's a 0-3. That's going to be a deep drive. He does not have the ballpark with a 41, and that's going to be a double. Grisham is only very slow, so he did not score a lot of runs. So Grisham did not score a lot of runs, so he will be held at third base. Oh, with 2 outs, he becomes just slow. He becomes just slow, which means he does not try to score. So they're going to hold him up. So the ball's played off the carom quickly and expertly. So it's going to be second and third here with 2 outs. And here's Juan Soto, the lefty facing lefty, perfect. And the pitch, and that's a 21, which will be base on balls. It's going to load up the bases for the most feared player in the major leagues, Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge, and we're going to go with the bullpen here. And we're going to bring in a righty to face Judge. We're going to call on a righty to face Judge. Who are we going to call on? We're going to call on he's in the rotation. Jordan Romano. That's what we're going to call it, Jordan Romano. All right, so now you get all the players. So I got to go through all these players to find Jordan. There he is. Found him quick. Hey, all right. So Aaron Judge, bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 9th. The Yankees are ahead by 1. And here's the pitch from Romano. That's it's almost a 0. That would have been all right. A 43 will be a defensive result. And an 89. Oh, that's going to be trouble. Center fielder, Kiner Falefa. Let's see what Kiner Falefa is doing out there. I gotta grab his card. He's in center field. he doesn't have a. So I'm gonna have to make him a 1 in center field, and that's gonna drop in. That is gonna drop in. 2 runs will score, and the Yankees lead at 6-3. Going to third, it's Soto. So it's a single, 2 stars, and Aaron Judge picks up 2 RBIs. And the Yankees lead it by 3. Here's Anthony Rizzo. 0-7. That's a ground ball, base hit. Judge will stop at second. Scoring from third is Soto. 7-3. That is Judge's second hit of the game. And here's Giancarlo Stanton with a 52. That's a deep drive, and he does have the ballpark. 0-52. That's a 45. That's a drive deep right center field. That ball is out of here. 3-run shot. The Yankees have broken it open. That's going to be it for Romano. Yankees lead it now, 10-6. And we're going to go to the bullpen. I'm sorry, 10-3. Excuse me, not 10-6, 10-3. So we're going to go to the bullpen, grab somebody else. Romano's been hammered here since he came in. Let's see who else we're going to grab here. Swanson. Swanson Dinners. Eric Swanson. He will be facing, who's the next batter? Gleyber Torres. So Swanson. All right, Eric Swanson is in there. With 2 outs here in the top of the 9th, the Yankees have blown this game open, wide open. The score is 10-3 now. They've scored 6 runs here in the top of the 9th against, I think, 3 pitchers. There's a 0-2. That's a deep drive. With a 7, won't be the ballpark for Gleyber Torres, and that ball is going to be a 67 off the wall. And Torres into second base with a double. So he blasts a double here with 2 out, nobody on. In the top of the 9th, here's Alex Verdugo. Verdugo is taking another collar today, 0 for 4. And he's the one who's in a deep slump, batting 121 with a 53, and that's going to be a deep drive. And he's got the ballpark. That ball is going to be off the wall. Back-to-back blasts here. Back-to-back doubles by Torres and Verdugo, and the Yankees pick up another run. Cabrera's next. And that's an 88. This will do it. This will end it. And it's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, who fires to first in time. All right, so last licks here. And let's see what I got to do. Let's see if Gonzalez can get through this. So I do have to make a change of some kind. Let me see, because I have a Yankee light blinking. Not sure what that's all about. Oh, my catcher. Yeah, because I pinch ran for my catcher. So my new catcher is going to be Trevino. So let's do that. And then we're going to restart the computer after this so we can get this going again. Because so Trevino will... Judge will move to left field. Actually, we could do, no, Judge is going to move to right field. Judge is going to move to right field. Soto's going to move to left field. And then Trent Grisham is going to move to center. And then the new catcher, Trevino, will be in the which spot? Oh, God. So he will be in I got third baseman, second baseman, first baseman, shortstop, left field. Verdugo left. Oh, Verdugo's out, so he will be in the 7th position. There we go. So we should be good now. All right, we're just waiting for this to kick in. Working really slow. Okay, and now we got Springer. Springer leads off here against Victor Gonzalez with a 59, and that's a base on balls. So that's not what you want here. And next is Vladimir Guerrero. Victor Gonzalez with a 58. That's going to be base on balls. So that's going to be it for Victor Gonzalez. Let's grab somebody. All right, so it's going to be Marinaccio against Bo Bichette with runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth. The Yanks lead 11-3. Got a big inning in the top of the ninth. That's a 0-8, and that's going to be a ground ball, base hit. Runners will hold. Bases are loaded for Justin Turner. Pitch to Turner with a 16, and that's a base on balls. That's going to force in a run. Yankees still haven't gotten out. Here's Kevin Biggio. Pitch, and that's a 31, which will be a strikeout for the first out of the inning. David Schneider, pitch from Marinaccio with a 57, and that's going to be a base on balls. That's going to force in a run. Second run of this inning. Next is Dalton Varsho, lefty, pitch, and that's a 0-2. That's a deep drive with the ballpark, and that ball is going to be off the wall. Deep drive, one hop off the wall, 2 runs will score. And they picked up 4 runs here, 11-5 now the score. 11-7, excuse me. And Alejandro Kirk, nope, it's going to be Kiner Falefa. Marinaccio with 1 out and 2 on, and that's going to be a 0-3. That's a deep drive with a 5-no ballpark. And that's a 68. That's going to be down the line, fair ball into the corner. That'll bring home 2 more runs. And we are, now this is a safe situation, so we're going to go to the bullpen. We're going to call on our closer. Yep, Marinaccio got beat up here. And we're going to go to the bullpen and call on the closer. Now that is funny. It's an 11-9 ball game now, just like that. 4 batters with hitting doubles. All right, we're going to grab on Clay Holmes. He's our closer. So let's grab Clay Holmes. Now that's funny. All right, that's why you never know what you're going to get in baseball. So it's an 11-9. The Blue Jays have scored 6 runs. They only have 1 out, and the tying run is at the plate in Jansen. So let's grab Jansen from here. Jansen ended up playing with another team. I had to pull him out of there. He's with the Boston Red Sox. Later. Right now he's still with the Blue Jays. There's a pitch, and that's going to be a 96, which will be a 1. That's popped up middle infield, and that's to the left side, Volpe. Okay, that's out number 2, and that brings up the top of the order again, I believe. Springer, yep, Springer. Springer today is 2 for 3. He walked in the second, singled in the fourth, singled in the sixth, and then walked again in the ninth. All right, we began this inning with a base on balls. So he is a tying run. He's got good power. And that is going to be a 35, and this should do it. Fly ball, deep left field, back goes Soto to the track, and makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Holy smokes. That was an exciting game at the end there. You didn't know what was going to happen. So that's the final scores. Yankees 11, Toronto 9. And let's quickly look and see what the deal is. So I'll do the quick recap for you. I'll do a quick recap.